Hi, welcome to Amanda's Book Corner. I'm Amanda, and this is my review of The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So at the very end of last year, I read Lucy Foley's previous thriller, The Hunting Party, and I really enjoyed that one. So I was excited to read her more recent thriller, The Guest List. This one came out in April 2020, and although I got it at the time, I just hadn't gotten to it. But it felt like a perfect read for October, spooky season, because this is a thriller. This is a thriller that's set in June at a wedding, but no matter, it still fits the bill, especially with, I look at that cover. The cover is kind of rainy and dark and stormy. I like it. It's good for October. The Guest List is set at a destination wedding. It's on a little island off the west coast of Ireland in the Atlantic. It only spans 2 days, but a lot goes down in those 2 days, with plenty of looks back at the past and things that kind of shaped the characters that we're following. So like her other book, The Hunting Party, this one has several point of view characters. In this case, there are 5 different characters that get point of view chapters throughout the novel. So one of the point of view characters is Julia, who is the bride marrying Will. Then there's point of views from her sister, Olivia, who is a bridesmaid. There's also point of view chapters from the best man, Jono, who's known Will since they were in school together. Then there's point of view chapters from Hannah, who is the plus one. She's married to Charlie, who is Jules's best friend. And finally, we get chapters from the wedding planner, Aoife, who is the only Irish character here. The rest of them are all English. So when the book begins, probably for the first 1/3 of it, it doesn't quite feel like a thriller, at least not to me. It feels more like a bunch of different characters who, they have their different flaws. They definitely have different squabbles, that they have different jealousies and things that they're angry about. But at least for the beginning, it all feels fairly innocent. Maybe not innocent. Innocent's not the right word, but it feels harmless enough. It doesn't seem like it's leading to murder per se, although we do know that it is. A murder is going to go down sometime after the wedding cake has been cut. We know that much. But for the beginning, it feels like you're getting to know these different characters, and it's definitely setting things up, but it's not quite thrilling per se, even though you know that is going to come. Like in the middle third, it starts to feel a lot more tense, and you can see the net tightening around these different characters and their secrets. And then the final third is when everything breaks loose, and it definitely has a fast pace, and there's still a lot of questions going through your mind, like who did this, who did that, who would have a motive to kill this person, and it's pretty exciting. So one of the first things I want to talk about is the characters. I'm in several different book groups on Facebook, including Book of the Month member groups, and I've seen a lot of comments over the last year and a half that most readers seem to really hate the characters in this book. And to be fair, they said the same thing about The Hunting Party, and I just have to say I kind of disagree. I mean, to be fair, these characters are definitely flawed. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. They have urges that I don't necessarily agree with. They have committed actions that I don't think are good. So while I wouldn't necessarily want to be friends with most of these characters, I don't hate them. I don't think they're just horrible, 100% bad people. I think they all have good qualities and a healthy dose of bad qualities. And for me, this makes for a more thrilling ride, a more thrilling journey as we get to know these different characters and start to see who could have the motive and the certain quality that you need to have to be a killer, And plus, I don't want to read about just like happy, perfect, lovely people, because that's not where thrillers happen. You don't have thrillers with just joyous, perfect, kind people. Murders happen when there's flawed people involved, and I think this book does a great job of showing people who are balanced and have a lot of gray area between like really good and really bad. To be fair, at least one person is pretty bad, but what are you gonna do? Someone has to be bad in a thriller. I don't want to go too much into these different characters because I have definite feelings about who the victim ends up being, and I definitely have feelings about all the different characters who ultimately do all have a motive, as it turns out. It takes a while to figure that one out, but they do have motive enough to kill. Like throughout the novel, I started to get suspicions about certain things, and in the end, I actually was right about a lot of them. A lot of the things that I guessed ended up being revealed shortly after, so I was pretty proud of myself. I could be a detective. I'm a Nancy Drew. But there are at least 1 or 2 things towards the end that I didn't see coming, so I do like that there was still some surprise, even though other things I did guess. It has a balance of the two. I wasn't completely blindsided by anything, but there were some things I was like, oh, okay, didn't see that coming, but that makes sense. But definitely as the book went along, I did start to notice clues and start to develop hypotheses. So once I started doing that, I think I was mostly on the mark. So if you don't enjoy guessing things, you might not enjoy that aspect of this book, but I personally do like it when I can guess things and at least get some of them right. Another thing I really liked about this book is the setting. Like I said, it's set on this tiny island. It's only like maybe 2 miles in diameter. It's a pretty small island that's fairly isolated. You have to take a boat, and it's not like it has like a ferry system or anything. It's just this one guy in his boat that takes you over from like the Galway area to where this island is. It has kind of a locked room mystery sort of vibe to it. They're trapped on this little island. And not only that, I think the island has great atmosphere for this thriller. It has a lot of like quicksand bogs that can, literally suck you in. It has some sharp cliffs with some like hard drops down to some crashing waves. It has this nice mansion, which has good vibes for a haunting kind of place. There's also rumors of all of the corpses that are buried on the island, and a little bit of mystery about the island's past and why so many people have died there, and why no one lived there for a long time until the wedding planner and her husband bought a place there to host wedding ceremonies. And beyond all of that, although it's June, although it's, maybe early summer, the weather is definitely a little bit on the stormy side, especially that second day, the day of the wedding. It's raining, it's probably a little bit chilly. It's great weather for a murder. So it's a great thriller. It has a really fast pace, and it has really short chapters, which makes it fly by even faster. I read this one pretty quickly, and I really enjoyed it. I just thought it was really fun and a thrilling ride, and I really liked the ending. I was surprised by it. I was a little bit sad for at least a couple of the characters by the end, but overall I think it was a very satisfying end. So I rated the guest list 5 stars, and I'm definitely going to keep reading more books from Lucy Foley. I understand that her next thriller comes out next year, I think in February or March, and it's called The Paris Apartment, so I'm really excited about that. I'll be reading that probably when it comes out. I've been a little bit late with her books so far, but I want to read that one around the time that it does come out, so stay tuned for that review. I also see that she has some previous books that seem to be romances, so I like romances. I'll probably read those too at some point. So stay tuned for more reviews of Lucy Foley's books. And in the meantime, I definitely recommend the guest list. So I hope you enjoyed this review video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I publish videos like this one at least once or twice a week. I read a fair amount of books, so I have plenty of book review videos like this one to watch. And in the next few months, I'm also going to start making other content as well, so stay tuned for that too. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!